Long ago, in a quiet mountain village, a young shepherd lived alone on a hill with his large flock of sheep. Every day he watched over them while the peaceful village rested below. The shepherd spent his days guiding the sheep across the green hills and rocky slopes. Although his flock was large, his life was lonely, and there was no one around to keep him company. One night, as darkness covered the mountains, the shepherd sat beside his campfire and stared into the flames. The village lights flickered far below, and boredom slowly filled his heart. Suddenly, a mischievous thought came to him. Why not frighten the villagers for a little fun, he thought, as he picked up a burning cresset and looked toward the sleeping village. The shepherd ran to the hilltop and cried, "Help! Wolves are attacking my sheep! Somebody, please come quickly!" His desperate voice echoed through the mountains, and the sleeping village suddenly sprang to life. The villagers believed his cries and hurried from their homes, carrying torches, oil lamps, and wooden staffs. Without hesitation, they began running toward the hill to save the shepherd and his flock. The villagers climbed the steep path as quickly as they could, their torches glowing brightly in the darkness. They were tired and frightened, but they continued upward, believing the shepherd was in danger. When they finally reached the hilltop, they searched everywhere. But there was not a single wolf to be seen. The sheep were perfectly safe, and the villagers stood there in confusion.
The wolves ran away after seeing the villagers arrive.
The shepherd nervously told them, "The wolves ran away when they saw you coming." The villagers looked at one another suspiciously, but they accepted his words and slowly returned to their homes. A few nights later, the shepherd once again sat beside his fire and remembered how easily he had fooled the villagers. He laughed to himself, picked up his cresset, and decided to play the same trick once more. Again, he shouted into the darkness, "Wolves! Wolves are here! Please help me before they kill my sheep!" Once more, the villagers woke from their sleep and rushed toward the hill to rescue him. But when they arrived, there were no wolves, only the shepherd and his unharmed flock. This time, the villagers became furious, and one strong man nearly attacked him before the others pulled him away. After the villagers left, the shepherd sat silently beside the dying fire. For the first time, he realized that his lies had gone too far. But he did not yet understand how costly they would become. That night, the shepherd fell asleep beside his campfire while the sheep rested quietly around him. Then, in the silence of the mountains, a distant wolf howl suddenly echoed through the darkness. The shepherd slowly opened his eyes and listened. As the clouds moved away from the moon, glowing golden eyes began appearing beneath a dark, ancient tree. More wolves emerged from the shadows until they surrounded the frightened shepherd from every direction. He grabbed his burning cresset and prepared himself, knowing that this time the danger was real. The wolves suddenly lunged toward him, and the shepherd fought desperately with his burning cresset. He swung the flames again and again, trying to keep the hungry animals away. But while the shepherd fought for his own life, more wolves attacked the flock on the other side of the hill. The sheep scattered in terror as the wolves chased them through the darkness. When the shepherd saw what was happening, he cried toward the village with all his strength. "Help me! The wolves are really here!" This time, his voice was filled with genuine fear and desperation. Far below, the villagers heard his cries, but no one came. They remembered his 2 cruel tricks and simply thought, "He is lying again," before returning to sleep.
Please help! Please help! Wolves are killing my sheep! Please get a door! Help! Please! Help! Help!
The shepherd threw stones and fought desperately with his burning cresset, trying to save himself and his flock. But no matter how hard he struggled, the wolves continued their attack. At last, as the first light of dawn appeared, the wolves disappeared into the mountains. The exhausted shepherd looked across the hill and saw the terrible truth. His flock was gone, and many sheep lay dead. Later that morning, a young villager climbed the hill to see what had happened. He stopped in horror when he saw the dead sheep, the blood-covered ground, and the injured shepherd sitting beside the ashes of his fire. The boy returned to the village and told everyone what he had seen. The villagers rushed to the hill and finally understood that the shepherd had told the truth. But this time, it was too late. The shepherd sat silently beside the cold ashes of his fire, overwhelmed by sorrow and regret. And as the smoke slowly disappeared into the morning sky, he learned a lesson he would never forget. Once people stop believing your words, even the truth may sound like another lie. If you choose to live by lies, don't be surprised when no one believes your truth. Trust takes years to build, but only one lie to destroy.